Well, hey, good morning, everyone. It's feeling kind of cozy in here. We had such a cold morning. Feeling like winter, right? Good to see everybody. We're going to start out this morning. We have the topic of gratefulness today. So I'm going to start with abundantly living in me. Life so rich, flooding the universe and light so bright, shining forever in me. The chains of this world will fall aside when I open my heart to what's inside. There is more than I need to see. There is life overflowing and breathing in me. The light of creation, abundant and free, is brilliantly shining in me. There is more than I need, so much more than I see. There is life overflowing and breathing in me. The light of creation, abundant and free, is brilliantly shining in me. Abundantly living and free, forever in me. That's right. Life's so rich. Flooding the universe in light so bright, shining forever in me. The chains of this world will fall aside when I open my heart to what's inside. There is more than I need, so much more than I see. There is life overflowing and breathing in me. The light of creation, abundant and free, is brilliantly shining in me. There is more than I need, so much more than I see. There is life overflowing and breathing in me. The light of creation, abundant and free, is brilliantly shining in me. Abundantly living and free, forever in me. Yes, it is forever in me.
Thank you, music team.
Yes.
Beautiful. We are so blessed with beautiful music, aren't we? Well, good morning, Unity Spiritual Center of Portland. Whether you're joining us here in the sanctuary or via our virtual family, we welcome you. We know you are here by divine appointment. I'm Beth O'Shields, your administrator. I'm holding the service today, along with our guest speaker, Reverend Evan Wilkins. Reverend Lisa will be returning on November the 23rd at our Thanksgiving Eve service. And I don't know if any of you have been following on Facebook, but she and Reverend Diane are having the time of their life, seeing all the sacred sites. And I think this week they're cruising down the Nile. So, you know, fabulous. We're going to have so many great stories when she gets back, right? So good. So, November, our month of gratitude. Our hearts are full just being here. And I don't want to let the opportunity go by. I want to honor our veterans who are here today, right? If you're a veteran, would you please stand so we can thank you? And just know, our hearts are full of gratitude for you every day, but we wanted to take this special day opportunity to let you know that for sure. We appreciate your service. We also have a lot to be grateful for this week, and I want to express our gratitude for the free and fair elections that were held, and a special thanks of gratitude to our letter writers, because you clearly had an impact on voter turnout last week, and I just want you to know how much we appreciate your efforts. Thank you. I know our work's not done, but we got a good start this week, and we're feeling pretty good about that. So in that feeling of gratitude, let's take a moment. Let's go into our opening prayer. If you'll just center into being here in the room. We're so grateful that you followed that nudge to be here today to receive the gifts that this service has to offer you through music and message. So let's take a minute to get comfortable in our chairs, settle in. Close your eyes if you desire, and let's all take a deep breath together. Mother, Father, God, Infinite Spirit, we welcome this beautiful new day. We are so grateful for the opportunity to join together in community as we lift each other up in love and support. We know there are no accidents. We're here by divine appointment, and we open our minds and hearts to the knowing that there is one presence, one power, God the good, infinite intelligence, the quantum field, which holds us in constant love and gratitude for the gifts that we know are available to us this day through this service, through serving, through the friendships and connections that are available to us here. We encourage to move forward on our path of awakening and enlightenment. We feel those blessings, and for this opportunity to gather in our beautiful spiritual home, we give thanks, and so it is. Amen. Well, first I got to take a moment to thank Colleen Story, who knocked it out of the park last week with her announcements. Colleen, thank you so much for holding the service. I have no props, but I'm working on it, just saying. Yeah, she did a great job. We're just so grateful that we can go and people can hold the space for us while we're gone, and it just really means so much. So, Colleen's a prayer chaplain, and our prayer chaplains hold such a wonderful place for us here at Unity Spiritual Center, and they're a great support to this ministry in so many ways, and they're available to pray with you each week right here up front if you have something on your heart. Would you all stand today? Today, Colleen and Sherry are our prayer chaplains, and they're available after the service if you have a prayer need. If you're not ready to do that one-on-one prayer, we have these wonderful prayer requests that are in the backs of your chairs, and there's some out on the lobby table, and you can fill those out and drop them in our prayer box. And they will be held by our prayer team for 30 days, and then they get sent on to Silent Unity, where they'll be held for another 30 days. So you will be prayed up if you take part in that. So we invite you to do so. So I'm moving into the announcements. Get ready. There's a lot of them, so just bear with me here. First off, the lift is out of order. Oh, I know. It's like I come back to something every time, but the lift is out of order. They tried to get it up and going. We can't get it fixed. We're on the list for November 23rd, which is the Thanksgiving Eve service. That takes us 2 Sundays. We're on the wait list, though, so y'all can pray with me that somebody cancels this week and we get a service call. So we're holding that in our hearts and minds. I want to let you know, if you are somebody who uses the lift, if you're participating in anything up here today, there are enough people here who want to help you. Ask for a cup of coffee, they will go get it for you. I'm convinced of that. So don't be shy, right? Step up, ask for what you need. We're here for you. All right. Today, following the service, we have the privilege of welcoming back Jackie Stone, who's head of the Northwest Gender Alliance. She is coming to do a transphobia one-on-one workshop. This is a workshop where all of our leaders came and participated in several weeks ago. It was wonderfully received. We all felt like it was very important that she presents this information to the congregation. If you are questioning pronouns, what they mean, how to use them, if you've struggled with any of this, please, please come. The workshop's about an hour, maybe less than. We're going to meet right here in the front of the sanctuary because we have something going on in the chapel, but we're going to meet right down front here. So go grab that cup of coffee, snack, whatever, and come on back up and join Jackie following the service. It's also the Sunday that our Care and Compassion group meet. And we are going to have them downstairs in the teen room because of the memorial service we're having later this afternoon. So this is a group, if you're struggling with what life's throwing at you, you need some support, someone to lovingly listen to you, share ideas, and some positive intentional prayer. You can join them today downstairs, also around 12:30. So next Saturday, the men's group meets here in person, 9 a.m. This is a group of active and inspired men. They get together once a month, and there's also some pamphlets out on the table you can pick up, which explain their group a little bit more, but all men are invited to join them. They mentioned last week our leaf raking got rescheduled to December 4th because the leaves are still on the trees. And if you saw them when you came in this morning, they're absolutely stunning. And I'm not sure that they're going to fall anytime soon, but I'm going to put it out there that they will more than likely fall before December 4th. And if I'm inviting anybody who has some time during the week. Last year we had 3 floods in the basement because the leaves clog up the grates and the downspouts and the stairwells. So if anybody can come during the week for a little bit of time, grab a rake, I'll give you a rake. If we can just keep the leaves away from the building for the next few weeks, I think we'll be good. So I'm just putting that out there. Also, William rescued the pumpkins from the garden. We usually offer these up to anybody who wants to take them and bake with them or cook with them. There's a couple left out there. They were not frozen. He put them in the shed, and he's brought them out this morning. They're in the north lobby. So if this is something that you want to take advantage of, please take them. They're out in the north lobby today. So let's see. This coming Saturday, November the 19th, the men's Satori concert is going to be held here in our sanctuary, 7:30 this next Saturday. This is their annual fall-winter concert. They've been doing this for a couple of years now here, and people just absolutely love it. So we invite you to come, $15 at the door, and come and enjoy a night of beautiful music. That's this coming Saturday. And then the next day, Sunday, November 20th, is when Timber Hawkeye joins us. And Timber, who's the author of the Buddhist Boot Camp, he's traveling across the country on this book tour. I've been following him on social media. It's been quite fascinating. He's been very well received. He goes from place to place. This is a totally free event, no ticketing. You don't have to read the book to join in, so you can come and enjoy an enlightening and lively discussion following the service. He's bringing his new book with him. So invite your friends and come and join. It's going to be a wonderful service. He's going to do the talk at 11, and then we're going to have the book discussion following the service. So I know you'll want to come and be a part of this. It's going to be a really special day. Okay, holidays. They're approaching. They're coming. Yep, there's no stopping it. It happens every year. We just get on that roller coaster and ride. So that all starts Wednesday, November the 23rd, Thanksgiving Eve service here in the sanctuary. We're going to have the labyrinth set up in the back so you can come early. You can walk the labyrinth. It's a very sacred time. The sanctuary is absolutely beautiful for this service. We take all those used candles, which you're going to bring in until next week. We take all of those and we just light the whole sanctuary up. It's a beautiful service of gratitude and love. It's just really wonderful. So we invite you to come to that. That's at 7 o'clock on the 23rd. And then following that is our pie social. So bring your favorite pie, and we'll have some pie and enjoy some social time following. And that's the day the lift's going to get fixed, okay? So we're going to have total access up and down. So yeah, so definitely join us for that. And it's Lisa's first service back, so we know you'll want to come and welcome her back on that evening. Today's the last day to order a wreath for our teens fundraiser. They're going to be out at the desk today. Last day for that, and those will be delivered on Sunday, November the 27th. Now on the day before, on Saturday the 26th, is our Deck the Halls Day. And this was so much fun last year, and I want to invite you all to come. We've got a sign-up sheet out on the lobby table. It usually takes 15 to 20 people, so there's lots of spaces out there to sign up. This year, I want to say Cher Gilbert, Dixie Junius are heading that up, and it's going to be a wonderful time, 10 to 2. We're going to make the place sparkle and shine for the holidays. I hear it's going to be pretty bright and shiny, so come and lend a hand. It's a fun time together. And then a couple weeks later, Lisa has secured a group of tickets for Lakewood Theater's production of Elf. So this is a fun and lighthearted play, lots of fun. We've done this before, a whole group of us. You can go online to the donate button. There's a pull-down menu. You can go to Elf. You can buy your tickets. Tickets are $35. And we all meet over there as a group and just have a great evening together. So it's a wonderful time to socialize and get to know each other and just have a great time. So it is the month of gratitude, and I want to express some gratitude for the community outreach work that happens here. Each week, we have our Sack Lunch Bunch who gets together, and they create 20 sack lunches to take down to the houseless community at Laurelhurst. We're working with Beacon PDX with that. And they could use some donations. It costs about $60 a week to provide all the lunches that they do. You know, the price of food has kind of been skyrocketing here, and the first several months, they donated a lot of the food, but we really do need some help with that. And I believe there is also a button on the donate page. You can go down and on the menu, and you can donate to that. And every week, I hear the stories of the people who drop these lunches off. And they come back with tears in their eyes, talking about what a fantastic experience they've had. The gratitude that they feel from these people is overwhelming. And so, you know, we're making a difference. We are making a difference in the community, and I thank all of you for that. We're also kicking off our community outreach holiday next Sunday, so I'll tell you a little bit more about that, where we help some kids in the community who are less fortunate. So that all starts next week. Now, I know it's a lot to listen to all of this as I run through all the things that are going on here, and I appreciate your patience while I do that. But I do want to say that these workshops, the opportunities for service, the special events, these are the things that create community. You know, we come here on Sundays and we sit in the sanctuary, and it's a wonderful time, and we get inspired and we get filled up and we feel so good. But this stuff that happens outside of this sanctuary, this is where the magic happens. This is where we connect with each other, where we build community. So I just encourage and invite you, step into something this holiday season. You will get so blessed by doing that. So make sure you pick up your holiday flyer so you don't miss anything. All right, at this time, is there anybody who's with us for the first time? We'd love to welcome you to our spiritual family. Our ushers are coming forward with our welcome packets. If this is your first time here at Unity Spiritual Center, we just ask that you raise your hand. We're not going to make you do anything crazy. We just want to honor you and thank you for being here with us today. On the back of that packet, there is a neon card for you to fill out. And on that card, there's a QR code, and you can certainly use that as well to give us your information. That will get you on our mailing list. And if you're at home and want to know what's going on, we also have a QR code that you can snap a picture of as well, and we will get you plugged in here with our regular activities. There's a little rose sticker on the front, and if you'll just peel that off and stick it to your lapel so we know who you are and can give you a proper welcome following the service, we appreciate that. All right, and now let's stand and stretch. Right? Seventh inning stretch is what I feel like. Michael, take it away.
I am open. Let's sing it together. I am open. Yes, I am open. I am open to receive the God in you and me. I am open. Yes, I am open. Yeah, I am open to receive the God in you and me. Okay, let's sing You Are Open. You are open. Yes, you are open. You are open to receive the God in you and me. You are open. You are open. You are open to receive the God in you and me. We are open. We are open. Yes, we are. We are open. And we are open to receive the God in you and me. We are open. We are open. We are open to receive the God in you and me. 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 The God in you and me.
All right, let's take that feeling of being open. Let's welcome each other here today with a handshake or a hug or a bow. Yes. Wow. This is the feeling we want to carry home with us, right? This right here. This right here. Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to quiet things down just a little bit right now. I'm going to invite Susie Ellen up to lead us in our meditation this morning.
Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve and remember? To love, serve and remember. To love.
So I invite you to close your eyes softly and take a deep breath and move from all the thinking and wondering and just open to the heart, and allow the music and these words to take you into a deep space of quiet, of stillness, the stillness that comes from hearts that are present to this moment of love. Now, as we slowly come back and gently and quietly open our eyes, feeling the community that we create here through the silence and love of this service, and this beautiful time, feeling the grace of just being here, simply arriving this morning, each one of us in the perfect place at the perfect time, feeling the love and joy of this community. So in this loving feeling of the presence, I simply open and release into this beautiful moment of now. And so it is. Amen.
Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember.
Sing it with us.
To love, serve and remember. 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 To love. It's not that unusual when everything is beautiful. It's just another ordinary miracle today. The sky knows when it's time to snow. Don't need to teach a seed to grow. It's just another ordinary miracle today. Life is like a gift, they say, wrapped up for you every day. Open up and find a way to give some of your own. Isn't it remarkable that every time a raindrop falls, it's just another ordinary miracle today? Birds in winter have their fling, but always make it home by spring. It's just another ordinary miracle today. When you wake up every day, please don't throw your dreams away. Hold them close to your heart, 'cause we are all a part of the ordinary miracle. It seems so exceptional that things just work out after all. It's just another ordinary miracle today. The sun comes up and shines so bright, but disappears again by night. It's just another ordinary miracle today. Ooh, ooh, it's just another ordinary miracle today.
And at this time, we're going to welcome back Reverend Evan Wilkins. Reverend Evan.
Good morning. How's everybody this morning? So, our topic is gratitude. So I want to ask, who's feeling grateful this morning? All right. I like to lift the vibe in the room. We've had a really good vibe going on in here, so I want to keep it going this morning. So yes, I'm Reverend Evan Wilkins. Walked into the doors of this church for the first time probably, 10 years ago, and know some of the people for that long. So it's always good to be back at the Unity of Portland. So always thank you for allowing me to come back. Some of the jokes I tell, sometimes I'm surprised that Lisa invites me back. But anyway. So today we're going to talk about gratitude. And I want to start off by a quote by the great 13th century German mystic Meister Eckhart. He once said, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. Acts 24:3 of the Holy Bible says, in every way and everywhere we accept this with all gratitude. Thich Nhat Hanh invites us to walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet. It was said he often practiced this with his feet. For instance, he'd take a step with his right foot, and he would say thank you. And then he'd take a step with his left foot, and so he would say thank you, and he would do this over and over as he walked. And like most people, I will often use the words thank you, or say the words thank you. And I probably use it more than I realize just in my everyday conversations, with my interactions with people. I'll ask Mindy, my wife, to hand me the salt or something at dinner, and I'll say thank you. But sometimes I wonder just how automatic that response has become. How conditioned I am to say those words. And I remember my parents teaching me as a small child, somebody would hand me something, they'd look at me and be like, what do you say? But I wonder how it would be if we didn't do it from just this conditioned response, but each time we use those words, we truly mean it. And not even just mean it, but actually felt it in here as well. Felt it with this conviction. Now, as Beth has mentioned, and as you're all aware, we'll be celebrating the holiday of Thanksgiving later this month. Where gratitude, it is front and center this time of year, right? We look around, we see the words Thanksgiving, and it's all about gratitude. But I feel like it's something we can implement into our daily lives, not just, just this time of year, but implement into our daily lives this time of year, and even when it's not Thanksgiving, and even just our daily spiritual practice. Now, I recently read a story that I'd like to share, and I'm going to read it because I think if I try to tell it by memory, I'm going to mess something up and lose the meaning in here, so I'm going to read it. But according to Arabic legend, a young man was roaming the desert and came across a spring of crystal clear water. The water was so delicious that he filled his leather canteen to the brim so he could bring some back to a tribal elder who had once been his teacher. Now, after a 4-day journey, he offered the water to the elder, who took a deep drink, smiled, and thanked his former student for the excellent water. The young man returned to his home with a happy heart. Later, the elder let another student taste the water. He spit it out, saying it was terrible. Now, apparently, over the 4 days in the leather container, it had become stale. But the student challenged his teacher. He says, "Master, the water was awful. Why did you pretend to like it?" And the teacher replied, "You only tasted the water, whereas I tasted the gift." The water was simply the container for an act of loving kindness. So we can see here that gratitude is something that extends beyond just to whatever it is that somebody gives us or somebody hands us that warrants a thank you. And it becomes more of a practice where we view the world and our experience in it through a different lens. And perhaps even a different way of being in the world, right? And it can extend beyond holidays and other types of occasions. Professor, author, and speaker Brené Brown states, "I don't have to chase extraordinary moments to find happiness. It's right here in front of me if I'm paying attention and practicing gratitude." So you may be saying to yourself at this point, "Well, Evan, are you suggesting that happiness can be found by practicing gratitude?" Well, nobody ever said that milk is the only thing that does a body good, right? In fact, they need to put that on billboards, and not just with a milk mustache, but somebody holding up a sign of gratitude. Gratitude, it does a body good. But gratitude does a body good as well, along with the mind and the soul too. Implementing a practice of gratitude can change your life and your spiritual practice in profound ways. So one of the first things gratitude does is that it shifts our focus. One of the things you may have learned through spiritual studies is that we tend to move toward whatever it is that we focus on. For instance, if I focus on lack, I'm likely to move toward lack, right? And I'm likely going to experience instances of lack in my life. For instance, one of my best friends, he's one of those guys who always seems to have it together. He's one of those guys you look at, you're like, that dude always has it good. No matter what he does, It could completely rain on his parade, he's going to come up smiling. But he sees the silver lining in everything. Now, he's currently serving in the Foreign Service, and his first assignment became dangerous in the country that he was serving in. He receives a call at work one day telling him that, there's been a lot of threats and to not return home. So I asked him, I said, "Are you worried?" And he says, "Not at all." He goes, "I'm getting my stuff for move for free, and I'm getting a nice new place." But it's all about how we shift our focus. We can all learn to do this. We all have the ability. But it's like with everything else, it takes practice. And sometimes it takes a little bit of a retraining of the mind, right? So one of the ways we can do this, and this is going to be something you're all familiar with, but is to take that time each day to write down those things that you're grateful for. Even if it's one thing in the day that happened. You got your favorite soda or whatever at the store, whatever it is. Take the time to write it down. Because words have an exceptional power. And one way in which we can put our words out there is through the act of writing, right? And I challenge you to do this. And I know you've likely been challenged to do this before, but I'm going to throw down the gauntlet again. I challenge you to write it down. It can be 5 things, it can be 3, it can be 1. But take the time to do this each and every day. You don't have to be author Anne Rice with a literary degree, I promise. Write it down in crayon for all I care, but simply write it down. It can even be as simple as, "Thank you, universe," or "I'm grateful for," and whatever it is. And don't just stop at writing it down and shoving it under your bed. I don't say that from experience or anything. But write it down and reread what you wrote. Close your eyes and allow yourself to feel what it is that you're grateful for. To actually feel that gratitude. Feel it coursing through your veins, through your cells, and throughout your entire body. Visualize it pouring over you. Visualize yourself immersed in that gratitude. And don't just do it for one night and let it go. Studies have shown that it can take 21 days to develop a new habit. I know it may seem like a long time, but it's not. That's less than a month. 21 days. And what harm is it going to do just to try it? And then if it doesn't, you can come back and say, Reverend Evan, I tried it for 21 days and it didn't work. But I don't think you will. Now, another thing with gratitude, being grateful brings more happiness into your life. So 2 psychologists, Dr. Robert A. Emmons from the University of California and Dr. Michael E. McCullough from the University of Miami, they've committed a lot of their time towards conducting studies to the effects of gratitude. And in one such study, the researchers asked a group of people, they asked them to write down a few sentences every week about a particular topic. One group was instructed to write about things that didn't make them happy, or about that topic that didn't make them happy. Another was instructed to write about things they were grateful for. And the control group was instructed to write about things that had occurred, but with no focus towards being positive or negative. It was just kind of there in the middle somewhere. You could probably guess what the results were. The group that was instructed to write about the things they were grateful for at the end of the study were far more happier and optimistic about their lives than the group that focused on the things that they didn't like, the things that they viewed in a more negative light. But regardless, it's so much easier to move through your day when you're feeling happiness, right? Another thing, like I said, y'all know all of this already. We know all of this inherently already. But another thing is that gratitude reduces fear. Now, this is a big one because is there anybody in this room who does not want to reduce fear? I mean, I like fear sometimes, like around Halloween and stuff. When I'm going into a haunted house, I want to be scared. But I don't think we want that on a regular basis. But one thing about polar opposite feelings is they can't share the same space, right? When we feel one thing more strongly, we usually shove the other thing out. For instance, it's difficult to feel anger and joy at the same time, right? That would be one heck of a balancing act. But it's difficult to feel those two at the same time. One thing is likely going to overpower the other. So several years ago, I was probably around 14 or so, but my mother takes my sister and I to church. And we go in and my parents, we would usually sit in the balcony in the very back row. That's just what we did. But anyway, so this Sunday was no different. We go and we sit up in the back in the very back row. Now, my mother had not had a good morning up to that point because my sister and I were being our usual difficult selves. We didn't want to get up that morning. We wanted to sleep in. We didn't want to go to church. So it was a difficult morning for my mother. So Mom, if you're watching this morning, I apologize. So my mother is feeling a little understandably angry. So we get to church, and I really don't remember what started up, but my sister got to what we used to call a case of the giggles. Now, it would happen at the most inopportune moments. She did it once when we were trying to get family photos taken, and we all looked hilarious in those pictures. But let's just say that her case of the giggles was and still is highly contagious. So she'd start laughing, and it was usually over something really small, but she'd start laughing, and before long, we were all laughing. And it was some of those instances where it was really difficult to stop. But anyway, this starts at church this particular morning. She starts laughing. So my mother's sitting there nudging her. She's like, shh, shh, because my sister, she's just, the more she laughs, the more she's getting carried away. But it's not working. And we're trying to be all quiet about it. Well, soon my mother starts to laugh. And then I start to laugh. And we're trying to stifle it at this point. And people are starting to turn around and glance at us. So my mother nudges both of us out of our seats, and we get out to the parking lot. We just let it go. It was just... But suffice it to say with that, my mother, those feelings of anger that had been bothering my mother that morning, they were gone. Just like that, they were gone. Her anger from that morning and the joy of her laughter were unable to coexist in that same space. And fear and gratitude, they work much the same. Fear is one of those things that it likes to expand, doesn't it? It likes to be huge. Fear likes to come in and take up huge amount of space. We've all heard the term man-spreading or whatever. Fear likes to do that. It likes to come in and take up all this space. But the more space it has to grow, the larger it becomes. But it only has the space to expand if we allow it to do so. And we can prevent this from happening if we expand something else into that space. And gratitude is one of those something else things that we can use. Now, gratitude puts us into this space of abundance. And it helps us to look around and realize the gratitude that we feel right now in this present moment. Think about the gratitude we feel just here this morning and all the wonderful things that are going on here in this community. But notice I said present moment. Because what happens when we start to live outside of it? We can start to think about the past. We can do that at any time and start to think about the whole, well, I should have done this. Oh, I should have said this. Oh, if I hadn't done this or said that. Or we can start to think about the future. And possibly a case of what my mother has always called the what ifs. Oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? Oh no, what am I going to do? And before we know it, our minds are going a mile a minute, right? They're going about 1,000,000 miles an hour, thinking about all the things that we should have done or all the things that we're going to do. And before long, we can start to feel fear. It's as if the mind speeds up and more what ifs start coming to mind, right? And the fear just starts growing. It starts expanding. And then suddenly it feels like it's out of control. And we get caught up in this vicious cycle. Well, guess what? We're not there yet in the future, right? We aren't living in the future. We're not living in the past. We're living in the right here and right now. And nothing is written in stone yet. And at the end of the day, a lot of those what ifs don't even end up happening, right? Then we find out that we've allowed ourselves to feel this fear for no reason. We allowed so much energy to spend time on those what ifs that never even happened. All that time spent on a future outcome that isn't even here in the present. All that time spent on fear and allowing it to expand rather than being grateful for the right here and the right now. I know that when I focus on gratitude for those things I have in my life right here and right now, even being able to spend this Sunday morning here with you all, the breath that I have in my body, living in this beautiful part of the country, I find myself focused on those things and on the good in my life and what makes me feel the good in my life. And when I do that, it leaves no room for fear. And lastly, gratitude raises our consciousness. Now, gratitude doesn't have to just be expressed with words. As I mentioned earlier, it can also be expressed through our feelings. And this one might be a little bit difficult to explain, so I'm going to show you. Are y'all willing to participate with me in just a little exercise? Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to do jumping jacks. But I invite you to just close your eyes for just a moment. And just bring to mind something that brings you joy. Maybe it's a pet, maybe it's a person in your life, a car, anything that brings you joy. Now I invite you to think about how you feel when you think about this beloved object. Allow yourself to feel the joy it brings you and the love that you hold for this, the gratitude it brings in your life. And when you've got it, you can just open your eyes. Feels pretty good, doesn't it? It takes your consciousness from here all the way up to here. It's where we meet the Christ or the divine consciousness, whatever name you choose to use for it. And what happens when we raise our consciousness to this point? We attract those things that are also vibrating at that higher consciousness. But just think about it for a moment. Those things that we probably don't like too much, things such as lack, anger, feelings of hate, whatever it is, those things aren't at this level of consciousness. They are very much stuck down here. And guess what the good thing is about them? They don't have a ladder or an elevator. Their lift is not going to get fixed. Boy, that just happened at the right time. But they can't touch you when you're up here. So where is it that we want to be? Where is it that we want to keep our consciousness? We want to keep it up here. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's always easy. Sometimes it takes a bit of time, you know, and a bit of practice. But it is possible, and you can do this. Anytime you start to feel those feelings of fear creep in, or any one of those undesirable feelings, go back to thinking about what it was you thought about when you closed your eyes a moment ago. Close your eyes and allow yourself to think of the way that beloved object makes you feel. That feeling is going to be the thing that helps raise your consciousness. Even put the name of your beloved pet on your name tag. I'm not pointing anybody out, but just like with most things, the more you do it, the easier it will become. And I love that you do that, by the way, Tammy. But I do want to say something else. When we walk around in gratitude, we also are, it's important to know that we're not walking around in a state of denial. We aren't denying that there are things that may be affecting certain areas of our lives, and that's important to remember. We aren't denying a diagnosis of the body, that perhaps we may have just lost a loved one, or that there's conflict in the world. We aren't denying that these things aren't still happening, but we are providing ourselves with a type of resilience. And that resilience is what helps us to be able to take a step back and to observe the situation from a different perspective. Because remember, gratitude raises our consciousness. And a higher consciousness doesn't mean that those undesirable things aren't still going to happen. But when we can make gratitude a daily practice in our lives, it helps us to be able to move forward. And it helps us to do that with less fear, a better understanding, and often the ability to view some of those things through a different lens. And it also has an effect on the physical body, on our physical health. So going back to fear for a moment, what happens when we live in a constant state of being immersed in those things that don't serve us? It can begin to affect the physical body, right? We see this through certain disease in the body. I mean, high blood pressure. Think about what feelings of stress due to our blood pressure. You know, heart attacks and things like that. And let's just say that I'm up here talking about gratitude, and you're sitting there thinking, Reverend Evan, you are completely full of it. Well, it's not going to hurt to at least try, right? It's free to try, too. It's not going to cost anybody any money. It's free to try. And you have nothing to lose, except for maybe those things that you want to lose, right? Namaste, my friends. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Reverend Evan. Always inspiring, always, always. Okay. Well, we've come to that time in our service where we get to practice gratitude with our tithes and love offerings. Active gratitude, that's what this is all about. If you feel a sense of gratitude for this spiritual home and all the ways that it supports and uplifts you every week, this is a time where you get to put that into action. There's a couple different ways you can give here at Unity of Portland. Of course, the old-fashioned way to drop a check or a cash into that bag when it comes around, but using your smartphone, text a tithe. You can go to unityofportland.org, and ways to give online on our website. These are in the backs of your chairs. You can also text Unity of Portland to 833-814-3477. That's the easiest way to do it. And you'll see people who will drop these little cards into the bag when it comes around. That just means that they have signed up for a recurring gift, and they drop this in the bag. You'll see some people wave their phone over the bag when it comes around, you know. But yeah, we invite you to share your gratitude with us this morning. So if you'll take those gifts in your hand, we'll say our blessing together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
We're gonna sing gratitude. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me, and I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude. Gratitude before. Sing it with me. Gratitude behind me. Gratitude to the left of me. Gratitude to the right of me. Stand if you like. Above me. Gratitude below me. Gratitude within me. Gratitude all around. I'm so grateful, and I'm so grateful. 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 And I'm so grateful. Sing it with us. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Yes, well, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know I'm so grateful for this music. So grateful for all of you showing up, supporting this community. We love and appreciate each and every one of you. And so now we're going to close the service out with our peace song and our unity prayer. So if you'll stand.
Here we go.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth,
The peace that was meant to be
with God as Creator. Family all are we. Let us
walk with each other in perfect harmony.
Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with
And just remember, if the only prayer you say is thank you, then that's good enough. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving season, and thank you all for being here this morning. And now, our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Woo! You too, Jack.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind.